Heyo, 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 heyo. What a long day. What a long day. And here we are, getting it a bit longer. Welcome, folks. I hope you... sorry. I hope you all have had an interesting day. Because, yeah, I know I had, but that's nothing I can really go into at the moment. We are here again for the Young Thug RICO-Trial. Week 2, day 1. This is this will be a recap of what happened today, because there were some interesting things that happened, and there was some really uninteresting thing that happened today. Yeah, but I told you all this already last week, so that this week will be a recap week, and I will go to I will go to what? I will try to make a you don't want to know how interesting day I had. And traveling science man, easy day, recovering from last night. Good for you. Yeah, this is a week for me that is filled to the brim with work. But I told you all, I will cover this trial gavel together. And so I will. And some interesting stuff today happened. We can start with the first thing already now. Because... Boom. Yeah, let's just listen to him. Howdy, Will Call, and hi, Wallstorm.
All right, before we go ahead and call for our jury, I have a matter of housekeeping to take up with you all. Over the weekend, juror 269 was admitted to the hospital. And I'm in receipt of the admission form. And as of current, she is still in the hospital. Her anticipated release date potentially is this coming Wednesday. So much as I like to wait till Wednesday, I'm going to probably have to go ahead and excuse her due to illness. So does anybody wish to be heard about that issue?
Your Honor, before we do that, can I just figure out who 269 is?
All right, and I'll let you take a look at I'm going to mark this as the next court exhibit in order, as well as I'm going to seal it for purposes of juror confidentiality.
Yeah. One jury down. We are down to 12 jurors and 5 alternates. And it's week 2 of a 6-month trial. I told you this last week, and I will repeat it. Statistically, therefore, I can't say that word yet. They will have a hard time having a full jury at the end of this trial. Very hard time. So, but what happens next is also interesting. So let's go ahead and listen to that.
69.
Oh, crap.
Exclusion would not be a far-reaching remedy for me at this point. Because
too long.
That was the 12th. It was not our.
Were you given the opportunity?
Yesterday, I know.
Sorry.
That is what the court ordered.
Yes, we have new prosecution shenanigan.
All right, going once, going twice. All right, summon our jurors for us, please.
Let me just check 1 second.
Wait till you hear this. Judge is slightly unamused.
Told you. Told you.
Ja, die Boomer Cows.
About where?
Don't know why she was hospitalized.
All right,
Or
anything
he.
else, folks?
Yes, Judge. Before you bring the jury out, there's a matter I'd like to address in the court.
What about our juror? Okay, is that what we're trying to address?
We understand the court has ruled, and there's on behalf of Mr. Williams, we have no objection to the court's ruling.
Okay, all right, just so I can kind of keep things separate. Okay, I don't want to excuse her, but I don't think we have much choice unless because I don't know whether or not she's even going to be available Wednesday. So, to delay
She.
the
No.
point in time, I think we'll just, since we have other alternate jurors, we'll just go ahead and continue at this point in time. Wish her the best. What's your second issue, Mr. Adams?
My second issue is in regards to an email that I sent to the prosecution and copied the court on Friday. And it's really in regards to our witnesses and the witness list that we received on Friday at 11:59, and then another witness list, a different witness list that we received yesterday evening at 6:55.
They got one witness list Friday, very late. And then yesterday evening, they got a new one. So the defense has prepared the entire weekend for one witness list. And then the prosecution sends another one Sunday evening.
Our position is that their names on that witness list, specifically the one that was received last night, that are witnesses, that are new names that were advised of being called today, tomorrow, and Wednesday, and we think are violative of what the court has ordered previously. Just very briefly, chronologically, as the court knows, about 2 weeks ago, we received a list of witnesses when the court said to the prosecution, listen, give them a list of witnesses that you intend to call in the course of the next week or two. They gave us a list of 70 names, approximately, indicating that those witnesses, those names would be called over the course of the first 1 to 3 weeks of trial. We relied upon that, and even though there were names on there that we had not had the opportunity to interview, and we gave those names to the state, we still began to prepare and go through those 70 witnesses and all of the appropriate and accompanying documents and reports and so forth tied to them. Last week, last Thursday, before we left here, we asked the court again to ask the state, to order the state to give us, just out of fairness, being above board, giving us an opportunity to properly defend our clients, a list of witnesses that they intended to call this week, either Monday or at least the first couple of days of this week. The court gave the state, said, well, give it, they didn't have it then. They said they didn't know who they were going to call. That's on last Thursday. The court said, okay, well, give them the list, a list of next week's witnesses by 12 noon tomorrow. That would have been Friday. 11:59, we received an email from the state with a list of
11:59. Every darn time, they are in the absolute last second. That takes planning. Let's continue.
19 names that they purported, at least in the email, that they're going to call this coming week. Of those 19 names, 17 were not amongst the initial list of 70 that they had given us 2 weeks prior.
Were they anywhere in the discovery?
They were in the discovery, yes. But again, going back to what we had discussed previously in regards to contact information not received and the state being late in turning over.
What kind of witnesses are they? Are they foundational witnesses in terms of terms of evidence that's going to sought to be admitted, or are they substantive witnesses?
I believe they're substantive witnesses. They're all over the place.
They are, but you don't-
Well, I know they are. There are law enforcement witnesses. There were lay witnesses. There are crime lab personnel. You know, so they're all over the place. Those are the witnesses we received on Friday.
Oh, brief pause here because I just got a message from Mo. Mo's been called for jury duty. Oh, that I'm live stream it. Oh, this traveling salesman. This trial is one where you need to have a drink at hand.
11:59. As the court knows, I sent an email to the prosecution. I copied the court on it. The court responded to that email and indicated that the court's, my word, displeasure at the state appearing to not comport with the court's order and the court's direction yesterday. And so we spent the weekend trying to make a determination or try to decipher, okay, are we going to be preparing these 19 witnesses or witnesses from the original list of 70? On yesterday evening at 6:55 p.m., we received an email from the prosecution with a list of 17 witnesses indicating, well, these are the witnesses we're going to be calling over the course of the next few days, next week. Some of them were on that list of 19 that we received on Friday. Some of them were not. Notably, as regards Mr. Williams, one of those witnesses is a witness, a police officer, an officer Skeet, Officer Fikes from Brookhaven, that is in regards to an incident involving Mr. Williams and Mr. Kitchens.
Didn't he testify earlier at a motion that we had? Fights?
I believe Fikes did.
He did.
Yes.
Did. Okay, so it's not like you haven't seen him before.
Well, no, it's not like this is not a witness, but what I'm getting at is what the court ordered and what the court said to the state in the interest of giving us an opportunity to prepare and not have to delay and know what's coming next. That was not a person who was on the list that had been given us in the list of 70 or the list of 19. There are other witnesses on that list that we received on yesterday evening. And yesterday evening, for God's sake, I'm going to let other attorneys speak for themselves, but it is simply flaunting and thumbing its nose at what the court ordered. There was a reason that you ordered that they give us that information well enough in advance for us to prepare. There was a reason that you did that. It was because of something that they did. And so it appears at this point that the state's position is, well, we're going to do what we want to do anyway. And we're going to give you a list of witnesses that maybe you will be ready for, maybe you won't be ready for. Maybe they're consistent with what we've given you before, maybe they're not. And certainly it's not. And so I am asking the court, certainly on behalf of Mr. Williams, as it relates to Officer Fikes, that they not be allowed to call him this week. There are other items, there are other witnesses we've prepared for, that we've started preparing for. Other witnesses who have a ton of reports and exhibits and so forth that we simply are not ready for. I don't believe, quite frankly, that Officer Fikes has ever come. He has not. He's not testified. He may have been on the list, but he's not testified. I don't believe he may have been referenced before, but he's not testified before. And so, Judge, I'm asking the court to preclude them from calling this witness at least this week. And I'll let other attorneys speak for themselves, but I'd ask you to do something. This is what, the third, fourth, fifth time that we've addressed this issue, and the state's position just appears to continue to be, we're going to do what we want to do anyway, regardless of what the court has ordered or instructed us to do. We're simply not in a position to try a case in this fashion. I'd ask you to do something. Something.
All right. Anybody else? Who's going to add something new? Because we do have the Harvey rule in effect. All right. Ms. Hilton, anything?
Yes, Your Honor. Good morning, Your Honor. Your Honor, on Friday afternoon at 11:59 p.m., we did submit a list to defense counsel. As the court is aware, the defense provided earlier last week and then kind of trickling throughout the week, a list of individuals, primarily lay witnesses, that they have not been able to speak to. When looking at that list of 70, initial 70, the majority of those individuals was on the defendant's list. Some were lay witnesses, some were law enforcement officers. So in looking at that list and in knowing that we've had some scheduling conflicts, we decided to find cases
I agree.
pretty quick where there are law enforcement officers that can be spoken with and we can move forward without delay, giving opportunity for defense counsel to interview those said witnesses.
Okay, well, then why didn't you tell me Friday? I mean, we were here Friday, and when I started saying, we got the list of 70, you didn't know which ones you were going to call. But it sounds like, you've gone ahead and you went outside the original list of 70 and you picked 19 that weren't even in the round of consideration, nor did you tell the court, hey, Judge, remember I told you, and you've been before me a long time, Ms. Hilton, a forewarned judge is a happy judge.
Correct.
So if that were the case, then I could have fashioned a remedy at that point in time or gotten involved in, hey, let's just call X, Y, and Z. But what it looks like to me is, as Mr. Adams just said, that you're just kind of saying, hey, we'll bump the court. I don't care what you say. We're going to call and we're going to present this case the way we want to, which is your right. But when I get involved in this, you run the risk of, okay, well, my mother used to have a saying, if you can't hear, you feel. So maybe you all need to feel exclusion.
Well, can I tell you what the state did this weekend so that we could remedy some of this? So on Saturday, the state called all members of at least one representative.
Press 1 for he actually excluded some of his witnesses. Press 2 for he did nothing. All bark, no bite. Ooh. Yes, Viking cat is available as an ornament. You can see it on my YouTube channel page. You have one thingy there that says shop. And it should be there, the link to it. I will just check once again to see that. Darn it. To see store. Yes, it's there. Christmas ornament. Ceramic ornament. Yeah. Yes. And I see there is a lot of twos. Well, let's continue and see what happens.
And from each of the defense counsel to make sure that some of the witnesses who are available were available for them to speak to. What we know of are the witnesses that are coming today. Most of them, whoever took privilege to speak with those individuals, they were able to speak with and meet with. I know and I believe, and any defense counsel can correct me if I am wrong, they were able to speak with Antonio Skeet, Sergeant Maldonado, Wellington Clark, Officer Kandakai, Joshua Masonek, and this morning we told everyone that Officer Cornelius was available. Not sure if they spoke with him or not, but these individuals we made available, most of them spoke with him via Zoom or FaceTime on Sunday.
Here's one thing I still am furious about. All of these witnesses, the defense should have been able to talk to before the trial. But here we are. Yeah, Officer Skeet, I think that's his name. Yeah, that's his name.
Make sure that they were able to at least get through the witnesses that we were having today. Okay. Last night, we sent the list of who we believe was coming for the rest of the week and advised that we will make them available as soon as they can become available because we understood that it was of the late hour. So
the judge ordered you in one of the last hearings before trial started that these witnesses should be available in good time, not the same week. This is so infuriating for me because this is the prosecution, in my opinion, actively throwing gravel at the defense, because prosecution knows they have a lot of witnesses. Today they had a handful, 5, 6, 7, something like that, depending on handful, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, they have to prepare for that, and then you still also try to, and here's a handful you haven't interviewed yet. Just overloading the defense with work. That's not a fair trial, in my opinion.
Intentionally reached out to make sure that they could interview and prepare for this upcoming week. And we will continue to do that. So that is what we did so that they could speak to them. And we believe everyone testifying today, they have spoken with. They had those who wanted to speak to. I can't say that everybody spoke with them, but everyone that definitely is being called today was at least available yesterday. I know Mr. Shard and Mr. Steele talked to people because they were texting me when they could not make contact with them, or if they were running late from one interview to the next. So we understand, and we're not trying to delay, but given how the case is moving, we're trying our best. So we gave a list of who we think is going to be called the rest of this week, and we advise that we will continue to develop that list as the week progresses. So they will have the opportunity, or the hope is to have the opportunity so they can speak with each of those witnesses. So for today, those witnesses are available.
Right. Thank you,
I believe when we were checking, we definitely know that hearing was held, Your Honor, because the Officer Fikes hearing was on 11/15, which is when we believe that he testified. If he did not testify, that was the hearing in which Mr. Williams and Mr. Kitchens were stopped at the airport. And I believe there was a suppression as to the statement of Mr. Williams during that. So I can't recall if he testified or not, but that issue was brought before the court. So as it relates to Fikes, if Fikes is their sole issue, we can attempt to get him available today so they can speak to. I believe Fikes may be coming, if not tomorrow, on Wednesday. I have to look at the schedule to let them know, but we kind of put in order who's coming this week. Not everyone, because that list is going to develop, because we think that we'll get through a number of these witnesses pretty quickly, but we did provide an opportunity for defense counsel to speak to witnesses this week, and those who are available, and we'll continue to do so. We are not trying to disrupt the court's order, but we are trying to move this case away in an orderly fashion, and we will continue to do that, Your Honor. But there's no way that we're just trying to subvert the court's remedy. And as we told Mr. Adams and the other counsel, it is our intention to go back to that 70. We have not abandoned that list of 70, Your Honor. It is the state's intention to go back to that 70, but as any trials are fluid, and we're trying our best to move the case along.
This is panic mode.
Your Honor.
She is trying to save her witness list.
I will make sure we can get him available, at least to speak with them today. Our goal will be today at some point in time. Granted, we are in court, so I know that might be a challenge, but we'll get Officer Fikes in the positions to be available, if that is the biggest concern. And then everyone else, as they become available, we will make them available for defense counsel.
All right, I'm going to include the email that I received before Friday. This is the one that includes the correspondence through Friday, December the 1st. I didn't get anything else this weekend, but I'll include that correspondence. Counsels, were you given the opportunity to interview those witnesses this weekend as much as you were able to do so?
Yeah, yes.
Okay, all right.
To the extent of the people that were named on Friday, 11 a.m.
All right.
Well, Your Honor, not completely. So there's one witness, Hilton can assist me with the name of that witness. She just mentioned it. That witness was supposed to be available this morning at 9 a.m. I was here at 8:30. Cornelius. I was here at 8:30. I did not see him. I asked around. I did not see the state, and I still have not seen that witness. Additionally,
I advised that she needed to call him at 9, but he would be available at 1.
Okay, from my understanding, he would be here, and so I would be interviewing him in person. But this is why you just do not do this at the last minute. But secondly, Officer Maldonado, yes, I have cross-examined him. What he would be testifying to today is not what my focus was on cross-examination, so I wanted to interview him. The state did send an email on Saturday or Sunday, saying that he was available very shortly before he was available, and unfortunately, I had an obligation that I just could not get out of, but that's why you do not spring this on the last minute. Additionally, Your Honor, after the state sent their email on Friday and you responded and you said, listen, go back to the list of 70 and for Monday, 5 to 10 people for Monday, and then we'll address the other issues. I listened.
Yeah. I mean, we will make him available during the day, the same day he's going to testify, or the day before. I mean, the shenanigans from this prosecution. This is not a fair trial, Judge. And this is not third, fourth, or fifth time. This has happened for over a year, over and over and over again. And this judge has threatened to throw jurors or potential jurors in jail. They removed a lawyer. I mean, he's not afraid to punish people. But throughout over a year, in pre-trial hearings and everything, you know who he never actually punished? The prosecution. Not once. Not once.
Into the court. So when the state started going their own path after your email, I was very, very confused. But I stood by your email in the order of this court. Additionally, Your Honor, just logistics. When we left here Thursday, I'm leaving thinking and carrying the files with me of the 70 individuals that's supposed to be up next for the next 2 weeks. Honestly, Your Honor, the 2017-18 case for Mr. Nichols that the state all of a sudden is about to put on this morning, I left it. I didn't even have it with me. And the courthouse was locked over the weekend. This is why you do not do this.
You have a backup file electronically, ma'am.
Your Honor, I have a backup file with some of discovery, but not my work product. I had dozens and dozens of pages of notes. Even when I cross-examined these individuals, I had notes in reference to that. So, but my point is this is why you do not do this. And you have been so patient with the state in reference to these last minute pivots. And I, for the life of me, I cannot understand that after you responded to their email saying, go back to the 70 for Monday, I completely do not understand how the state could continue and go the direction that they chose to go after you already said, this is what we're doing.
Your Honor, when
So
we
I'll
read
respond to
the
that
email,
because
yes, Your
I'm
Honor.
kind of because no response to me would lead the court to believe that what I just said earlier, that you all decided, well, you're going to just follow your own path.
Your Honor, when the state read your email, what I understood to be is have 5 to 10 individuals. I did not read it, and I'm going to reread it again to say for Monday. It was go back, at least have 5 to 10 individuals, but I will reread it again, but I did not interpret it as meaning for Monday. I interpreted it as, in addition to these 19, please call at least 5 or 10 more people from that list of 70. So if the court's instruction was for Monday, that's not how at least this member of the state interpreted it. And as it relates to the 2 cases for Mr. Nichols, I spoke with Ms. Westmoreland over the weekend about this. Again, we advised that Kandakai was available. Not Kandakai. Maldonado was available. And I need to look and see what time we sent the email and what time he was available.
My email I sent you all. Counsels, I'm very disappointed. This is not what I...
Okay, let's listen to what his email actually said. Because now we have listened to the prosecution, her interpretation of it. So let's listen to what it actually said. I will be tuning up here.
Was available.
My email I sent you all. Counsels, I'm very disappointed. This is not what I directed or intended. The state could disclose this change in plans yesterday. The fair solution I would recommend for Monday Please identify 5 to 10 witnesses you plan to call from the original list of 70. We can deal with the other issues on Monday.
But I interpreted to let you know what 5 to 10 people we will call this week. I did not interpret that as for Monday.
For me, this is clear as Bahamas water. I don't know. I mean, it's so clear. These are the 70. If you have anything else, we will handle it on Monday. Not that you have a get out of jail free card on, oh, I can do whatever whatever I want. If you have additions, you handle them in court Monday. Not surprise witnesses to the defense. Ads popped up. Oh, yeah, I know. Again, I can't do anything about the ads. I already said it, and you already know it. YouTube says we all must have ads, and I have the absolute lowest setting. Just to make sure, let's play it again, what he reads.
I spoke with Ms. Westmoreland over the weekend about this. Again, we advised that Kandahar was available. Not Kandahar. Maldonado was available, and I need to look and see what time we sent the email and what time he was available.
My email I sent you all. Counsels, I'm very disappointed. This is not what I directed or intended. The state could disclose this change in plans yesterday. The fair solution I would recommend for Monday. Please identify 5 to 10 witnesses you plan to call from the original list of 70. We can deal with the other issues on Monday.
But I interpreted to let you.
For me, it's clear. I mean, how can you misinterpret that unless you are actively a moron? But here she goes.
You know what 5 to 10 people we will call this week. I did not interpret that as for Monday. My apologies, John. That's not how I interpreted it. I interpreted on Monday, identify at least 5 to 10 people that from the original list that you were going to call this week. That is what I understood, and that is my apologies, Your Honor. It definitely was not our intention to ignore that completely. That was how I interpreted it. I did not interpret it as to have 5 to 10 people. And as it relates to Maldonado, Your Honor, I sent an email to the entire group at 9:30 advising that he was available at 3:00 p.m. So I'm not saying that Ms. Westmoreland didn't have time, but it wasn't just a few hours before he was available. I advised at 9:00 in the morning that Maldonado was available at 3:00 p.m. that afternoon, and I did not get any response to say, hey, I'm unavailable. Can he come earlier? Can I talk to him earlier? Is there a different time? And I provided that contact number. So the notion that it was a few minutes before he was available, that is not true. Again, we tried our best efforts to make sure that any information that they would need was given to them. But again, I did not interpret, and again, that is my apology. As the court has said, I've been before this court for a number of years. I don't just intentionally disregard. That is just not how I interpreted that email.
Look.
And Officer Cornelius is planned for this morning. Maldonado is here, has been here since 9 o'clock, or I think before 9:00 a.m. this morning as well. If the defense counsel wants to speak, he's been here.
All right. The problem that the court has is that, I could have been made aware of all of these ebbs and flows on Friday. And I find it very, challenging that I wasn't included on any of the other conversations that you all had this weekend, past Friday.
And I guess I wasn't intentionally, because I didn't know the court wanted to know the back and forth. I knew that you wanted to know about the witnesses, so the court was included when we sent their list on Friday. We provided these individuals on Friday afternoon. Friday at the appointed time that the court advised that she wanted the information, or that we needed to send the information. And then you know, there was a lot of back and forth. So I didn't know, as far as scheduling, I didn't know as far as scheduling. So that's why we didn't include the
The
court.
challenge that I'm having is that you all certainly should have put your colleagues on notice on Friday and said, listen, no, we may be calling additional witnesses outside of the 70 to deal with exigencies of proof.
We did. That was our email on Friday, Your Honor. That was the 11th, that was the 12 o'clock email. And that's when we listed everyone.
See, I didn't get that.
Yeah, that was the initial list, and I believe you were copied on it, Your Honor. That is the list.
Yeah. And guess what? Nothing happened. No exclusions. Nothing. Again. Now the defense knows that they will be getting surprise witnesses. They will get hours of a head start, or hours. Hey, we are tomorrow or Thursday, we will be calling this witness who you have not yet interviewed. Because this judge, this is not fair. It's simply not fair. But let's move on to, hold on. Let me do this so I can, ta-da! So I can jump up to the, let's see here. This is the cross-examination of first witness, who just happened to be, guess who? Officer Skeet. The very same officer they were more or less surprised with. That's the first witness of the day. And he testified to, it's from the same as Friday, when Mr. Williams was pulled over and they found a stolen gun in the passenger seat. So this is the second cop. So let's listen to the cross-examination of him.
Cross.
Yeah, I agree. They cannot rely on this judge.
Thank you, Your Honor. Good morning. How are you, investigator?
Funny.
Good to see you again. The notes that you brought with you, that you were referring to earlier in your testimony, do you still have them in front of you?
Yeah, they're here.
And did you review those notes and use them to prepare yourself for testimony today?
Yes.
May I look at them, Your Honor?
You may.
May I approach?
Yes.
I'm not going to take long.
Sure.
Yeah. The cop came into court with notes on what he was supposed to testify. Notes that wasn't presented to the defense. If it hasn't been a mistrial by now, I doubt it will be mistrial at all during this trial. This judge is focused on bringing this case to the jury. Yeah, we saw it. I will pause the next time. And apparently that shirt or pullover he's wearing, he got that from his girlfriend 2 weeks ago.
Okay, and thank you very much.
Yeah, that's the only thing that can render a
From your
mistrial.
information, the burglary happens approximately July 10th, 2013. Does that sound approximately correct?
Yes, in that ballpark, correct.
Okay, and you don't go out to the house of the Phillips, is that
No.
fair to say?
No,
But you receive a call from Miss Phillips or Mr. Phillips?
Mr. Phillips.
Okay, and you get information to try to learn about what you can do to put the gun or the other property on the system, the computer system. It's fair to say?
So, as far as this cases, when most people call, the officer advises them that if they don't have the serial number at that point in time, they can call the investigator that is handling the case to update with the serial numbers.
And that's what you did.
Yes.
And when you received the information on State's Exhibit 12B, which you just looked at and compared to what was given to you, you put that information on a computer system, fair to say?
Yes.
And approximately 2 months later, we're talking about September 9th, 2013 from July 10th, 2013. So about 2 months later, there's a match.
Yes.
On the serial number that is now the gun in 12B. Fair to say?
Yes.
Okay. And you had no involvement in that traffic stop either. Is that fair to say?
Yes, I had no involvement in the traffic stop.
And the traffic stop, again, I'm talking about the September 9th, 2013 traffic stop. Mm-hmm. True?
Well, as far as the traffic stop, the only thing I got from that was information.
Right. But you were not involved in that traffic stop? Okay. And you did nothing further in this matter?
As far as the gun being recovered, what I did after that was basically call to find out if the prints that the officer said he took from the location, if they came back to get a match.
Okay.
But they didn't have any prints.
Okay. And that's it?
And that's it.
That's why you're here?
That's why I'm here.
Okay. Thank you. Your Honor, thank you. Nothing else.
Yeah, so this guy only there to present this little piece of evidence that he received a call from the guy who got his guns stolen. That's it. And the next one is also, I mean, it's extremely uninteresting. But, ta-da! That would be sidebar counter 21. And that took a while. Yes, here it is. That is Mr. Young Thug's sweater. The wolf sweater. Wolfpack. More or less taunting the prosecution. Hey, prove it. That takes some balls. And I'm saying that this was planned, probably, because his lawyer, Mr. Steele, they meet each other before the trial starts. So this is the defense taunting the prosecution. Oh, and yeah. If you want a Christmas ornament, it's time to order it this week so you can get it before Christmas. I will have this up on my store until the 10th. Then it goes back to being a normal... I have lots of Mr. Jingles merch on my page. So there's lots to choose from. Yep. Let's see. Where is my... And then more or less nothing interesting happened before lunch. So we will pick up again after lunch. Hold on. There.
Guilty under Alford case, the Alford case, Alford v. North Carolina, and well, I should say North Carolina v. Alford, and I'm going to ask the court to instruct the jury as to what an Alford plea is actually is.
Yep. An Alfred plea is when the defendant this is separate. These are the cases they did an Alfred plea years ago, which the prosecution now moves in as an overt act under the RICO charge. Sorry. No worries. I will recap all week. I might, maybe do a live stream on Friday, but I can't make any promises. This week is just filled to my eyebrows with the work. Where were we? Yeah, the Alfred plea. If you believe you can't win the case, you can still plead guilty. Oh no, you can still say, I'm not guilty, but there's too much evidence to say otherwise. So they make an Alfred plea, which means they acknowledge the evidence from the prosecution and they take the punishment without ever acknowledging guilt. So that is what happened during those prior acts, which now comes back to bite them under this RICO-Trial used against them. I call it a second bite at the apple, but it's allowed under the Georgia RICO.
Because it's not an admission of guilt, and I believe that's important for the jurors to know. And I have a proposed instruction that I can email to Your Honor and the state, but it's from Skinner v. State, 297, Georgia Appeals 828. That's a 2009 case, and it was just reiterated in McCallum, MCCALLUM v. State, and that's A23A 1174. Also 2023 Georgia App Lexus 511 is a brand new case. And if Your Honor would like me to read what it says, I can, or I can just email it.
How do you spell McCallum?
MCCALLUM.
And give me the
Those glasses are
advanced, or they
expensive.
should say advanced sheet citation. It's A what?
23.
23 is 23A?
Yes.
23A.
1174.
All right. Can you email everybody the proposed instruction, please?
Yes.
All right, do that now.
Your Honor, Westmoreland, on behalf of Nichols, we are asking for the same instruction for 2017 and 2018 conviction that I anticipate that the state will try to introduce today. Both of those cases were Alford pleas.
Yeah, and guess what? It got in. Now we have another discussion coming up here.
Can Ms. Hilton, if you'll just let me know before that, if that is
Your Honor, actually, the state intends to start with the introduction of certified copy of conviction for. Oh, sorry. Your Honor, the state intends to start with the introduction of the certified copy of conviction for Trontavia Stevens.
Certified copies of convictions. here's the thing. They convictions, yeah. And they did the time. And here they are again. Under the RICO Act, you can recharge people years after they did their time.
2 for Mr. Stevens and 1 for Mr. Jackson, Stillwell Jackson.
Okay, so who, madam?
Yes, so for Trontavia Stevens, an indictment 13 SC 116787.
I agree.
Okay,
But that's the
you
Georgia
know
RICO
their
Act.
names.
Trontavia Stevens,
Mr. Stevens?
yes, Your Honor.
Okay, who else?
And then there'll be a second certified copy for Trontavia Stevens as well, under indictment 15 SC 140132.
I
As
agree.
well as for Mr. Shannon Jackson under that same indictment number.
And I would just ask that when we introduce the conviction from Mr. Stillwell, we introduce it as a guilty plea under offer instead of just guilty. So it gives context to the judge's instruction, Your Honor's instruction.
That's fine, Your Honor.
Yeah. Conviction because they pled out.
Okay, I'll start off with that and I'll tell them, words to this effect, ladies and gentlemen, you're about to receive evidence in regards to,
Yeah, and that is him reading the instruction. And ta-da! Sidebar counter. 22! Um, and that witness was also one that was very interesting, but cross-examination. That is definitely interesting.
Cartridges or otherwise known as rounds. And then there was an additional round that was in the chamber of the weapon, meaning that
New lawyer. We haven't heard her before.
Good afternoon, Sergeant Minato.
afternoon.
All right, so you just explained to us that you were a member of the FIT team, correct?
That is
During
correct.
2017. And it would be fair to say that one of the differences between the FIT team and a regular street patrol team is to target high-level crimes?
That is correct.
Okay. And during this time period, you were following the trend of robberies, that's fair?
That is correct.
Okay. And when you saw this vehicle, you did not suspect this vehicle as being a participant in any type of robbery, correct?
No, that is correct.
Yeah, this cop is part of a team that investigates a cluster of robberies. But they still had the time to pull over a car that may or may not have not yielded for a stop sign. So they pulled them over. And as he walked towards the car, he scented the smell of marijuana. Wow, these cops' noses are amazing. They can get out of their cop car and immediately smell pot. Immediately. And this team has this, once you are doing something, all of them swarm. And yeah.
You saw car window tints, and that is the sole reason you pulled this car over. That's your testimony, right?
That is correct.
Okay. And you explained that you had several FIT members with you, correct?
Correct.
You plus 4 more.
I think it was myself, Owen, and yes, myself and 4 more.
All right. And the FIT team, you were in 2 separate vehicles that day, correct?
That is correct.
And you saw this vehicle, you pulled this vehicle over, and all of the FIT team approached the vehicle, correct?
That is correct.
Now, it is general practice for the FIT team to all get out of the vehicles and approach a vehicle at the same time, right?
It is.
All right, so it wasn't just the window tint. That wasn't the reason that you approached, that all of the FIT team approached the vehicle. You always all approach the vehicle, generally speaking, correct?
Correct.
All right. So you had the vehicle surrounded, 3 officers on one side, 2 officers on the other, correct?
Correct.
And Officer Owens actually went to the driver's side where Mr. Nichols was sitting, right?
Correct. I was next to him.
Okay. All right. So Officer Owens, from your understanding, asked Mr. Nichols to roll down his windows.
Correct.
All right. And Mr. Nichols.
Culparistic. Why is this guy performing routine traffic stops? Yeah. You want me to speculate? I don't have to wait for the answer. They waited for them. That's my speculation. And then the tinted window, that's the excuse. And the smell of marijuana, they always smell marijuana. Always. Here's the thing. I would be really, really interested in knowing about all the traffic stops where they smell marijuana, where there's no marijuana. How many of them, just to impeach them on the nose? It's so stupid. It's so stupid.
Said, hey, I can't roll down the windows, and open the door to comply.
Correct.
Right. And then Mr. Nichols was asked for identification.
Correct.
He explained that he didn't have any.
Correct.
Up until this point, Mr. Nichols is being cooperative with you, fair?
He was.
Now, inside of the vehicle, you listed some passengers, 3 black males,
Including the driver.
including the driver, 1 black female,
Correct.
and a child.
Correct.
All right, so at this point, after Mr. Nichols explains that he does not have his identification, he's detained.
Correct.
He's taken back to the patrol car,
Yes.
right? And you're with him in the patrol car.
Yes.
All right, so Officer Owen spoke to Nichols, but you took Mr. Nichols to the patrol car, correct?
Correct.
All right, and you asked Mr. Nichols for his identifying information, correct?
Yes.
And he gave it to you.
He did.
He gave you his real name, correct?
Yes.
All right. Now, while you were in the car, there was another officer with you, Officer Chisholm.
Correct.
Is that correct? And Officer Chisholm, from your understanding, separated the female passenger from her child and the other occupants in the car, correct?
She asked her to step out.
Yes, and she had a private conversation.
Yes.
One that you weren't privy to.
That is correct.
Okay, let me ask you about that. Body cameras, it was body footage of this traffic stop, right?
Yes.
Okay, and body footage lasts for 5 years,
Depending on the case, yes.
depending on the case. But in this case, the body camera footage was supposed to be retained for 5 years, correct?
Correct.
All right, so when this case was originally indicted May 9th of 2022, and remember, this incident happened July 3rd of 17. That was within the 5 years.
Correct.
Did you receive any type of notification or instruction from the government to say, hey, retain this body camera footage?
I did not.
Do you know if any other members of the FIT team, and this is just to your knowledge, do you know if they were told, hey, retain this footage?
To my knowledge, no.
All right, so the car was searched.
Yes.
And you have testified that you found some pills, correct?
Yes.
2 pills, and that you found 2 baggies of some type of solid substance.
Correct.
And you have testified suspected substance because you don't know, right? You're not the GBI.
Correct.
You didn't test these things.
No.
All right, now, several individuals were arrested, right? All of the adult passengers.
Correct.
All right, let's talk about that a little bit. Miss Pierre, she was the registered owner of the car, correct? All right.
And Miss Pierre was arrested that day for the suspected 2 baggies, right?
Correct.
All right, so she was arrested for trafficking with that. She was also arrested for the pills.
Correct.
Okay. And she was also arrested of a drug-related object, right?
That is correct.
Okay. All right, and Mr. Norman Harris, he was arrested, correct? All right, and Mr. Harris, he was arrested for the pills, right?
He was.
And he was arrested for trafficking in illegal drugs, correct?
He was.
All right. And Mr. Harris was later, from your understanding, was later indicted for the firearm, but you did not arrest him for possession of a firearm, correct?
From the information that I've gathered since, correct.
All right, and so that was not your decision to arrest Mr. Harris for the firearm, correct?
Correct.
All right, so that would have had to be the prosecution. You had nothing to do with that.
That was not my charges.
All right. And Brandon Warren, he was arrested.
He was.
Let's talk about that briefly. Mr. Warren was arrested for trafficking.
He was.
So that's the 2 baggies, right? And Mr. Norman was arrested for the suspected pills.
He was.
All right. And Mr. Norman was also arrested for the drugs in a different container, correct?
You said Mr. Norman that time.
Mr. Warren.
Yes.
Okay. And Mr. Warren was also arrested for possession of a firearm.
He was.
Okay. And then Mr. Nichols was arrested?
He was.
Okay. Now, officer, let me ask you this. You did not arrest Mr. Nichols for anything gang-related, correct?
I did not.
You did not. And you did not arrest any of the individuals in this vehicle with any gang charges, right?
I did not.
Okay. And you wrote a report in this case?
I did.
And you're trained to write reports?
Correct.
All right. And you're trained that if you need to supplement a report, that you can supplement a report, correct?
That is correct.
All right. And you're trained on how to write an affidavit for a warrant,
I am.
correct? And you are trained to how to write a citation, correct?
I am.
All right. So in this case, you wrote pretty much the list that I just gave you, right?
That is correct.
All right. And in any of the reports or any of the lists that I just gave you, you did not report anything in reference to any type of gang activity with this traffic stop, correct?
I did not know.
All right. And you didn't report anything in reference to any type of gang activity in reference to what you seized, correct?
Correct.
Yeah. And this is her just going through the motions of, yes, traffic violations, yes, this, yes, that, all the things they found, nothing about gang. And this is a important point that she has to make towards her client. And because RICO is all about the gang charge, all about it. So if they can show towards the jury, hey, nobody charged them with gang. Nobody. They didn't reference it. But you will probably, well, in some occasions, some cops tries to shoehorn it in, and the judge allows it, even though it's never in the report. Yeah. And it's infuriating, but that is Georgia. And then they had a short break. And then they came back. Now, this I didn't have sound, but this is more of this evidence that the prosecution showing the defense for the first time. Well, it's in discovery, but now is the time they can see it and say, oh, we need to object to this. Because why a heads up? That's but we can listen to this witness. who is about to show up.
Hi, Sergeant Ross. Good afternoon, sir. Sir, if you would please approach the witness stand. Once you get there, if you would turn and face Sergeant Ingram, be sworn as a witness before you sit down.
Raise your right hand. Swear affirm the testimony you give the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth.
I do.
State to know the first and last.
First name Charles, Charles. Last name Ross, Ross.
And Sergeant Ross, where are you employed?
I'm sorry.
Where are you employed?
I'm currently employed with the City of Atlanta Police Department
And how long have you been with the City of Atlanta Police Department?
for about 11 years now.
And what do you do with the City of Atlanta Police Department?
Currently, I'm a sergeant in the Zone 2 area,
And how long have you served as a sergeant?
approximately 4 months.
If you can tell the jury briefly about your career with the Atlanta Police Department.
Hey!
So I started my
Man,
career
hello.
in 2012. 2013, I was sworn in as an officer. Spent time in the Zone 5 area, which encompasses this courthouse, as well as most of the downtown area, before going to Zone 1, which is the Bankhead area. I spent about 3 years in patrol before I was moved over to the Apex unit, which is a proactive unit that's citywide. We target violent offenders and other individuals engaged in lower level narcotics and various other smaller crimes. We also do warrant entries for individuals that may be barricaded or for narcotic seizures. I spent about 3 years in that assignment before I was then promoted to investigator and assigned to the robbery unit. I spent about 3 years in the robbery unit, handling citywide robberies throughout the city before I was promoted, well, not promoted, but moved to the city's Homeland Security and Cyber Crimes unit. Spent about a year there working in that capacity where we were responding to threats throughout the city that may have been related to like the Georgia Dome or various threats made to individuals throughout the city. I was recently promoted to sergeant and assigned to Zone 2.
And are you post certified?
I am.
I'm gonna take you to October 23rd, 2018. What unit were you assigned with APD?
2013,
2018, I'm sorry.
2018, I would have been assigned to the Apex unit.
And you spoke briefly about what the Apex unit did. Tell the jury about your job and responsibilities.
Okay, so under the current command over there, we were assigned to a specific zone. Each day we would go out to that zone and try to locate violent offenders that had outstanding warrants or make proactive stops and arrests based on probable cause as far as violent crimes, narcotics, and various other incidents.
And in order to kind of stop these types of crimes, were there any investigation tools or things that you use in order to assist you all identifying the target crime locations or anything like that?
Yes,
Also saying this to form, you can rephrase.
Did you use any investigative tools?
yes, one of those tools being social media.
And why was social media helpful for you all?
To me, social media was like a huge impact. It was a way to reach out and, find a lot of the individuals because most.
What he says here about social media is really, really interesting because he's explaining, he's using this as a way to reach out to these youth in need and youth in problems and stuff. And I'm sure he does. But what he also does is checking and monitoring and all of those things you shouldn't be allowed to do as a law enforcement officer unless you actually have a valid reason. But apparently, a lot of cops in this county spends hours and hours and hours on social media waiting for posts by people they claim are criminals who might be on the verge of committing a crime, they claim, and stuff like that. Yes, Shafos, it's called spying. and it should not be a tool as a law enforcement. Because that is circumventing probable cause and everything. People who are currently not suspects. And then he checks, and other cops today goes through social media and looking for hashtags and people who, and I have to say this as well to all people out there, don't self-snitch. I'm not claiming that figure of speech, but don't self-snitch on the internet, on social media. Don't write stuff like, hey, smoking a whatever's over here, hashtag slime, stuff like that. What's your
Hey,
hey, Hella?
how's it going?
Frustrating frustration about this trial all the time.
Really?
Yeah.
How unusual for you.
Yeah. We were just talking about this cop thing. He uses social media to connect with youth in problem, which would be a wonderful thing that is
Yeah.
absolutely could be used that way.
Very,
But
very noble.
yeah, but also in his testimony and other cops during this day, they are checking social media for suspected crimes or hashtags that would indicate something is up. Oh, they are going over there. They will probably smoke weed. Let's go there by pure chance.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Bass, thank you for the super chat. Who the hell is this? Thank you so much. Much appreciated.
Bass was in my chat earlier.
Yay! How are you doing by hours, by the way? You must be getting close.
I need about 500 still. So it's hard to get those hours when you're not able to stream the trial. So I'm gonna have to start doing like you do and stream those 6-7 hour trials. Looks like.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we might need to take over some days or something like that at some point. Don't know. Do some all-nighters.
Yeah.
Might have to do some more of those all-nighters at some point. Yeah. Don't know. We'll see. But yeah, I gotta say, there's some pretty stylish people in this courtroom. I'm impressed, and I was hoping that, considering that you had to work yesterday, you had a pretty busy day at work.
Yeah, this week I might get time to do a live stream on Friday.
Oh, you're going to be busy all week?
All week.
Oh, nasty. Okay.
Yeah.
Nah, fair enough. All right. And I mean, that's going to happen though, Nick, isn't it? I mean, this is a really, really long trial. And so you're going to be doing a lot of
some weeks will be recaps, some will be live stream, some weeks when I can see that really uninteresting people, I might only do maybe 2 or 3 times that week.
Sure.
But I will cover this trial from gavel to gavel. I've told everybody that, and I will.
Yeah.
I will.
Absolutely. When you commit to something, you see it through.
Yep.
Yeah.
And also today they lost a juror who was hospitalized during the weekend. No, the first one.
Oh, that's right. They never got rid of any from the whole snappy.
Yeah. Snisna snappy, das kleine Krokodil. Snisna snappy. No. Yeah, from the event last. Yeah, no, they never lost anybody, but they still refuse to show to film the witnesses because dangerous.
Okay, so you're fine with showing jurors' faces, but not
Mm.
witnesses.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Mm.
So were you just finishing up, or you, Nick, or?
No, I have maybe 45 minutes. So yeah. And by the way, this is Mr. Williams. He's currently in the courtroom with Wolf.
Wolf.
Yeah, as in Wolf Pack, as in leader, mocking
Leader
the
of the wolf.
prosecution. Yeah,
Gotcha.
I don't know if it will come back to haunt him, but hey, he's
You make your own life choices.
so I would guess it's planned. But let's go back a few seconds so we can listen more to who this noble cop just uses social media to reach out.
Yeah, he's a lovely person.
Did you use any investigative tools?
Yes, one of those tools being social media.
And why was social media helpful for you all?
To me, social media was like a huge impact. It was a way to reach out and find a lot of the individuals, because most times when you have investigations, they will tag or associate individuals that they have some type of. I'll stay in this form. You can rephrase.
I think I wasn't scared.
Yeah,
it was Mr.
Here he claims, well, this is an easy way for us to keep tabs on the suspects. How can he prove that? I mean, my question would have been in the cross-examination, so how much time do you spend on social media on taxpayers' money? I mean, because they're not only checking suspects, they are just saying they are checking suspects, they are checking everybody.
And Ms. Westmoreland.
In your experience in using that social media tool, what did you find first?
I found that individuals tag other individuals that they partake in criminal activity with.
I say with?
Yes.
With what?
Like they participate in criminal activity with.
Oh, who they?
Yes. Sure. Okay.
And sidebar counter, 23 sidebars so far in this trial. I should have a competition. Whoever
today, not just today, all week.
All week, yeah, all week. Oh, you're frozen. No, you're unfroze. No, the entire trial. Yeah, maybe I should do. I will take that up on Friday. Yeah, this is day 5, and they are up to 23 sidebars.
Day 5 and 23. Look, I think Elaine had more.
Yeah, she might have.
Yeah.
Yes, via social media.
Oh,
And
too long.
your action was to include. It was reported criminal activity.
Yes.
Okay. Taking you to October 23rd, 2018, did you have the occasion to encounter and interact with Cornelius Nichols?
I did.
All right. Prior to interacting with him, had you seen him previously?
Yes, via social media.
And where on social media did you see him?
On an Instagram page that I believe to be associated with Mr. Nichols.
Okay. And why did you believe that social media page to be associated with Mr.
After reviewing the page, he had various photos of himself on the page, as well as he posted video stories that encompass,
Well,
Faces, hold on.
I'm sorry.
Hold on. Faces?
He doesn't know. Lack of foundation, speculation, relevance. He doesn't know who's supposed to be. The foundation is
I'm
not.
gonna sustain the objection.
Was an individual who appeared to be a Carmavis Nichols in those videos,
Yes.
not knowing who posted it, but was
Not-
he in the video?
Not knowing who posted Mr. Nichols was in the videos.
And was it on the page believed to be Mr. Nichols?
Yes.
And did that page have a name?
Yes,
Okay. And I guess was that like an Instagram handle?
it was.
Okay. What was that Instagram handle?
The Instagram handle was bitch, it's Quay.
Okay.
Or Qua, I don't know how you pronounce it.
And is that BITCHITSQUA? And did that person who you interacted with on October 23rd, 2018, did that appear to be him
Yes.
on those videos?
I'm over the objection now.
I think my first question was, did you interact with him on that day?
Yes,
All right. And did that appear to be the same individual in the video?
yes.
All right. Tell me, how did you see Mr. Nichols on social media on October 23rd, 2018, or a video of Mr. Nichols on that day?
Yes.
All right. Tell me, how did you come to see that social media video?
Well, I looked on Instagram and I noticed that there was a story attached to Mr. Nichols' page. After pressing the story, it began to display the video.
Okay. And I know what the story is.
Oh.
Maybe our viewers don't know what the story is, but when you say story, what are you referring to?
I got you. So Instagram has like a mini video feature where around the icon of a person's profile photo, they can attach videos throughout the day of various things. It could be sports, it can be, actual videos that they took of themselves. All kinds of things can be posted to the story, and I think it's retained for like 24 hours, or unless they delete it.
And what time generally did you get to work back in 2018? What time was your shift?
Depending on the call, it would have been between 2 o'clock and 4 o'clock, and I would have got off around 10 o'clock or midnight.
And what, if anything, did you see on this incident?
What, if anything? There it is.
What, if anything?
Yeah.
Yes, it's almost like it's a cliche, really, isn't it? You get a T-shirt
Yeah,
with that on
it is. That is how they get around many of the. I don't know how to ask this question, so I say, what if any?
If anything. If nothing, then fine. But what if anything? Yes, indeed.
It's Nathan. It's a wolf.
I was just going to ask that myself, actually.
Yeah. Last week they had a bit in about him being leader of the pack, as in wolf pack. And this week he's wearing a sweater with a wolf to taunt the prosecution.
Mm-hmm.
And he's been wearing it all day, so his attorney is fully aware of it. So this is pure taunting.
Instagram story.
So once the Instagram story began to play, I saw the male that I believed to be Mr. Nichols at the time before actually.
As soon as it played. That is a devoted cop who spends all his day checking social media. That is taxpayers' money.
The meeting him. He was
think you
inside of a
froze,
vehicle. It appeared to be a Chevy,
Hello.
gray in color. He was sitting inside the passenger seat of
I
that
think
vehicle.
your picture
next
froze.
to him was a red bag.
I was frozen, was I? Okay, I'll pick myself up. I'll fix myself.
And sidebar counter 24.
site and gave them all the information on what we were going in to do and who we were looking for and what we were looking for. And then we would have proceeded to that location. I would also make my sergeant aware and K9.
And 2612 Steel, can you tell Drew where's that location?
2612 Steel is in the Cleveland Avenue corridor. It runs right off of Cleveland Avenue. The driveway may be from where I'm sitting just out into the hallway from the actual street of Cleveland Avenue to the entrance of the apartment complex.
Were you able to make contact with officers and set a staging location?
I was.
Where was that staging location?
The staging location was at the...
Oh, side. How does it sound? Count in Sesame Street. Oh.
One.
How does it? Well,
Two.
1, 2, 24 bars.
That's it.
Was that close?
You got it. That's right.
Hi, Nicky.
Well, I'm not sure if it was open, but it used to be the Piggly Wiggly. It's right across the street off of Cleveland Avenue.
Okay.
And once you met with officers at the staging location, did you give them instruction as you just discussed?
I did.
All right. What happened next?
Then we all caravaned over to the location and began our investigation.
And did you all go over to that location?
Yes.
Tell the jury what occurred as you were going over to that location.
So as we made our approach, upon turning or crossing over the street, since it was literally across the street, I heard an individual yell out 12, which is slang.
Basis.
Live Foundation here today.
I'll rephrase this to the form. You can lay a little more foundation, madam.
Let me ask you this. Were you all in patrol vehicles?
We were.
And were they marked patrol vehicles?
Yes, ma'am.
And the term 12, what does that mean?
Slang.
What was your understanding?
And speculation.
I'll overrule the objection.
What is your understanding of 12?
Turn 12 is apparently slang. The foundation was laid for it, according to the judge. If I were on the jury, I would have had no idea what was going on. And because I'm sitting here, more or less not knowing what's going on. But he will explain it.
12 is slang for police.
Okay. And in your experience, have you heard
didn't know
individuals
that.
yell out 12 previously?
Yes.
And in your experience, when someone yells out 12, what happens?
Individual that's engaged in criminal activity that gives them like a...
Hey, Mickey.
I'll sustain this to form. All right, you can rephrase, madam. I'll strike the last one, ladies and gentlemen, just disregard the criminal activity issue.
When you heard 12, did you hear someone yell out 12?
I did.
When you heard 12, in this case, what occurred? What did you see?
Upon entering the actual apartment and making the turn, I was able to see the suspected vehicle, which was a small Chevy, and a white vehicle still sitting next to it. As we made our way to progress, this is only in seconds as well. As we made our way to progress to the parking lot, I noticed that the door for the Chevy was locked remotely, causing the horn and stuff to beep, and the lights to actually flash to, signify that the vehicle is locked. And then we made our approach to the white Toyota Solara.
12 apparently means police.
12.
Yeah. Is this how the Giuliani RICO trial went? Oh no. They had evidence. The reason RICO and why Giuliani was so successful with it was because he actually brought evidence of crimes they didn't was previously charged for. So everything was current. And then they look at this and look at the taxes and look at this and look at the taxes. Everything in this trial is about look at what they did 10 years ago, 5 years ago, 7 years ago, 3 years ago. Yeah, but they were either not charged at all, charges were dismissed, or they pled guilty and did the time.
And they've
And here
already
they are
been,
again.
it's done and dusted, it's finished. Yeah. So we're
What?
talking
Sorry.
about crimes that have already been done and dusted.
Yeah, done and dust in the wind and everything. And because some of these things they are bringing up in this trial, there are convictions, and they did the time. And some charges was never brought, charges were just dismissed, or simply we think they did it. It's a trial by volume and nothing else. And in the end, it's going to be, oh, look, these bad people needs to be in jail for the rest of their lives. They are all guilty of this murder that happened in 2013 that we never could charge them with back then, and nothing has happened with the evidence, but please convict them anyway.
Nick, can I have your opinion as to why you think that they're doing this now?
Well, it might be a trial run for the Trump RICO. And Miss Fannie Willis, district attorney, she's not there today, by the way.
Yeah.
And she has made a career out of bringing RICO charges. And she's done some more than 6 at least in her career. So that's her signum. She does RICO trials. And I said this on Friday, that every trial day this RICO trial continues is a day a handful of people will never have their day in court. Actual victims of actual crimes will be set aside and pled out or something because they want this RICO trial. Every day.
So we're saying different cases, like completely separate to this RICO trial, like everyday crimes on the street.
Yeah, I mean, the past 3 years, I've seen in this particular where Fulton County and everything, crime is on the rise. And they choose to do a RICO. I think it's so wasteful of time and money. If you can't get them individually on their crimes, move on. There will be another day. These are not the most clever of people who actually says self-snitch on the internet. There will always be drug charges. There will always be some gun charge. But for some reason, they want to bring them all in and convict them under a RICO Act for murder and put all of them away for the rest of their life.
And with 12, in your training experience, is that an alert?
Dennis just mentioned that there's
is that an alert that
election.
police are coming?
Yes.
I'll overrule the objection.
Is that an alert that police are coming? Once you got inside and you saw the gray vehicle with the lights click on and off, what happened once you got closer to the vehicle?
Let's see here. Fannie Willis, her current term ends on December 31st, 2024. So she has 1 year left. And in this year, she's trying to remove young Slime Life and former President Trump. And if she succeeds, I guess she will get re-elected. If she doesn't, yeah.
Once I got closer to the vehicles, I then exited my patrol vehicle. As soon as I began to exit my patrol vehicle, I smelled the smell of burning marijuana.
I mean, cops' noses are amazing. Now, they did have a burning joint around there, so it's not impossible. But as I said about the previous witness, how about you tell us all the time you smell marijuana and there weren't none? I mean, for me, Hella froze again.
I'm here. Did I?
Yeah, but
Can you hear me?
yeah,
Can you see me
yeah,
and
I
hear
can.
me?
I can hear you, but your picture freezes, frozen.
Hello.
I can hear you,
I'm
but I can't. Yeah,
I
but your
might,
picture
if
is
that's the case,
frozen.
I might leave and come back.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Where was it? Yeah. I want to know how many times these cops smell pot and they found nothing. That's what I want to know.
I then began asking individuals outside, like, hey, who has the weed? Where's the marijuana at? I then made my way over in between the two vehicles that I saw or I believed to see in the Instagram photo, and where I encountered Mr. Nichols. I asked them, did they have any marijuana, because it seemed like the smell was coming from within the vehicle. I then detained Mr. Nichols and the passengers in the vehicle, as well as the individuals standing around the gray Chevy.
So let's slow that down a little bit. When you approached the gray vehicle that you saw in the video with Mr. Nichols, was there anyone in that vehicle?
No, that vehicle was empty.
All right. And you said that he was in another vehicle. What was that vehicle?
He was in a Toyota Solara that was parked maybe like 4 feet away. He was in like the door frame, sitting on like the where you step out of the vehicle. That he was sitting right there, leaning over towards a female passenger or driver.
Now, in the door frame, was he on the driver's side or the passenger side?
He was on the driver's side.
Okay, and was the driver's side of the Solara, what color was the Solara?
Solara was white.
Yeah, this guy will sit there and describe this event the rest of the day. And how about that? It is cyber counter number 25. Oh. And then there was a slight break. And then they came back. Hey!
All right, ladies and gentlemen, please be
Hello.
seated.
25!
All right, thank you, Sergeant Ingram. All right, Ms. Hilton, when we left off, I think you're getting prepared to play Exhibit 68I for the jury. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yeah, and now they are playing body cam.
Oh.
And we can see it. So it's really, really boring.
Oh, I can't see it.
Yeah, but I want you to listen to this guy, how he talks when he's not on the stand.
All right, you may publish it this time.
Auntie right here, talking about she want her a young nigga, and Quay right here trying to get in. Auntie saying she want her a young nigga. Man.
Oh, this is the...
Shorty, man, I got...
No, that was the video that he saw.
That's a contrast.
Yeah. And this is him driving up there.
Yes, ma'am.
Hi, John.
He is wearing a wolf sweater. And last week there were lots of talk about him being leader of the gang, leader of the pack, as in wolf pack. And today he's wearing a wolf sweater. A $1,200 wolf sweater, apparently.
$1,200 for that?
Yeah.
Okay.
But let's listen to the cop. I got to the wrong point in time. This is him. The previous one was the video they published when they were in the parking lot and...
And right now, where are you driving? What street are we looking at?
We're facing Cleveland Avenue is running to the left and to the right. Directly across the street is Steel Avenue.
Okay, this one is sound to your fire.
Fellas, what's going on? Who got the weed over here? Nobody? Yeah, it's coming from right here. I ain't crazy.
This is a police officer talking.
You don't smoke no weed? How about you, man? But it's coming from right here. Do me a favor, I'm going to detain you, man. Step up, step up. Why you detain me? Step up, because this whole area smells like weed, so...
I'm gonna detain ya. That's the cop talking. He went over. I smell weed. I'm going to detain you.
we're going to detain all y'all.
Detain
If
all
I
of
search
them.
you, that's fine, we'll get to that.
Put your cuffs on.
Listen to me, I'm detaining you.
Your Honor.
I'm detaining you.
Yes, Mr. Warren, you have
Detaining
an
me.
objection?
Yes, I have an objection.
Continuing objection, ma'am?
Well, just
Or we haven't almost taken up already?
further hearsay objection.
Overruled objection.
thank you.
Okay.
If you're not going to jail, you're not under arrest right now. You got me?
Oh, she went. He's actively handcuffing them, telling them they're detained. But he's not making an arrest. Let's play that back again. Listen to what he actually says.
Objection.
Continuing objection, ma'am?
Well, just
Or we haven't almost taken up already?
further hearsay objection.
Overruled objection.
Thank you.
Okay.
If you're not going to jail, you're not under arrest right now. You got
He just handcuffed him and says, you're not going to jail, you're not under arrest. He's only detained. If you are not, in my opinion, I don't know Georgia rules, but since they are playing it in court, apparently this is not making an arrest. That's just being detained. Because the cop smells pot. Yeah, me neither. Oh, Hella is having issues with her internet. Oh, I want her to hear this. But I mean, how is this not a violation of rights? I need somebody to explain it. I need somebody to explain it to me. How this is not a violation of rights. He's clearly under arrest, in my opinion. Yeah, detain, I mean, as soon as the handcuffs are on, you are not allowed to leave. That's an arrest, in my opinion.
me? You understand? All right. Hold him tight. Ma'am, anything in the vehicle I need to know about? You mind stepping out of the vehicle? How about you, Miss Lady?
Yeah, apparently.
This your car?
Apparently this is the United States way to handle it, or at least Georgia. They made... You're not under arrest, but you're only detained. So detained is something of the sort, I need to have you here. Yeah. You can handcuff someone while sorting things out. For me, that's an arrest. Nonya witness here says, they say, no, it's not an arrest because without tangible reason, they can't arrest you. They must believe you committed a crime. So more or less, I smell weed. Let's put you in handcuffs. Let's somehow get canine or somebody to say, sure, you can search. And all of a sudden, that for me is a shortcut. I don't like it. Apparently it's allowed. I don't like it. I don't have to like it.
Sorry, car. Okay.
And he's looking into the car. Now this is in plain view. This is in plain view. I know that's a thing in the United States. But he's leaning into the car. For me, plain view is when you are outside looking into it, not when you're leaning into it.
Yeah, I got him detained. It's a blunt right here on the ground. On the ground, and some shake all in this car, in one of the cars over here.
Touches evidence without a glove. Touching the evidence without a glove. But now he's inside the car. But now he found the blunt. Well, I guess he has. And guess what? Hold on. Today we had sidebar 23, sidebar 24, sidebar 25, sidebar 26. Ho, 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 ho. Yeah, they are going for the record in this trial. And then it is more video about this particular stop for a good while. Let's move ahead to the cross-examination.
Have what appears to be a neighboring.
Oh, your video, the car.
I got you.
And you can use that to point to where you're saying Cleveland Avenue.
Okay. So right here, we have 7585, which runs north and south. Then right here, we have Cleveland Avenue, which runs east and west along, 7585. And then we have the Steele Avenue street and the apartments and parking lot area where the actual search and investigation took place. And then we have neighboring businesses and the actual residents of, the apartment complex.
And going straight, you can't go going up.
Yeah, believe this is way, we are talking about 7-8 years ago. So I'm not sure if it was decriminalized in Atlanta back then.
Steele, past 2612 Steele, What, if anything, is behind that's not indicated in?
Another apartment complex, but I'm not sure the name.
Okay, but that's another apartment complex.
Yes.
ACD property and evidence. Did that conclude your involvement as it relates to this particular case?
I believe so, yes.
I have no further questions.
Cross.
Okay. Now we get into cross. Yeah.
Good afternoon, Officer Ross.
Good afternoon.
How are you?
I'm good. How about you?
I'm doing pretty good.
Good.
Okay. So you do not know when this video, the social media post, you do not know when it was created, correct?
I do not.
All right. And you do not know who posted it, correct? You cannot say that for a fact?
I cannot say who posted.
Okay. And in fact, you do not know who filmed the video, correct?
I do not.
You do not. All right. And you do not know what approximate time that you saw the post, correct?
Well, in my narrative, it says 20 minutes.
No, what time you saw. Yes, you do not know.
No.
Okay, and you do not know what device that you were using to see this post, correct?
Nah, hang on, because you said, I don't know what time it happened. If we comparing the body camera video to when I'm saying 20 minutes in my report, it would have been roughly approximately that time.
You don't know when the video was created. You don't know if it was created and posted on the same day. You do not know.
We're not talking about that, though. We're talking about you saying how long after me seeing the video. That's what you just said.
That is not what I said at all. Let's just go back a little bit. Let's slow down. Okay. All right. Right now, I am just asking questions about the post itself.
Gotcha.
Okay. I'm not talking about your body camera. All right. Okay. So I asked you, you do not know when the video, meaning the Instagram video, when it was created. You do not know that, correct?
No.
Okay. Because you didn't make it. You don't know.
No.
All right. And you do not know who filmed the video. You weren't there. You do not know.
No.
Okay. And you do not know when the approximate time that the video was posted, correct?
No.
Okay. And you do not know where you were when you were watching this video, correct?
No.
Okay. And in fact, you do not know the device that you even used to watch this video, right?
My city cell phone.
Huh?
My city cell?
You're saying your cell phone?
Yeah, my city cell phone.
Your city cell phone? Okay. Do you remember another occasion where I asked you that question?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. And you don't remember saying that you did not know?
I'm pretty sure I said my city cell phone at that time as well.
All right. Don't worry. We can move on. All right. So you're watching this post, right? And you see what you believe to be a small bag of marijuana, correct?
Yes.
All right. And you see this post and you call your supervisor?
I notify him, yes.
All right. And you get a caravan together?
Yes.
All right. And you find a staging location?
Yes.
Okay. And you call, and several officers meet you at the staging location?
Yes.
All right. And you do this briefing session with your other officers?
Yes.
To go get this marijuana?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So you arrive at the apartment complex, right?
Yes.
And when you get there, Mr. Nichols, who you believe to be Mr. Nichols, he's not even in that car, the gray car anymore, correct?
Correct.
Okay. And let me ask you a question. Let me make sure that I'm clear on this. You saw another post on that same social media account from the day before or earlier that day with the same clothes on, correct?
Yes.
Okay. All right, so anyway, so you get to the apartment. Mr. Nichols is not in the white Toyota.
No. He's in the white Toyota.
Excuse me, he's not in the gray Sonic.
Yes.
Okay. And in fact, he's now in a different car. He's in a white Toyota, right?
Yes.
All right. And there are two other people in the white Toyota with him, correct?
Yes.
Right. The two females that we just saw.
Yes.
Okay. And there are several individuals standing outside. That's fair.
Yes.
Okay. And of these individuals standing outside, they're males, they're females, it's both, right?
Yes.
Okay. And so let me ask you, sitting on top of the gray car, okay? The gray car.
Okay.
You saw individuals sitting on the gray car, right?
Yes, sir.
All right, and you saw individuals standing beside the gray car, correct?
Yes.
None of which was Mr. Nichols.
Correct.
All right. And so you park your patrol car, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you get out. And you testify that you smell marijuana in the air, right?
Yes.
And specifically, you said you smell burnt marijuana in the air, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Now, Mr. Nichols, you approached Mr. Nichols immediately, right?
Yes.
Okay. And he didn't have any marijuana in his hand, correct?
Yes.
And you didn't observe him smoking any marijuana, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And he didn't have a firearm in his hand or anything of that nature, right?
He didn't.
Okay. And as a matter of fact, when you approached Mr. Nichols, you and the other individuals, you asked them about marijuana, right?
I did.
And Mr. Nichols told you he didn't have any.
He did.
Okay. And as a matter of fact, Mr. Nichols said, "Officer, you can search me."
He did.
Okay. You asked Mr. Nichols for his name.
I did.
This is a good cross-examination. The prosecution, for a good 2 hours with this witness, really tried to hammer in Mr. Nichols, Mr. Nichols, Mr. Nichols, Mr. Nichols. But now, he clearly says, hey, now on cross-examination, he never saw him with weed. He never saw him smoke weed. Mr. Nichols even said, you can pat me down. And what does the copper do? Puts him in cuff and says, you're only detained, not arrested. So, yeah.
He provided it to you.
He did.
He gave you his real name.
He did.
It's fair to say he was cooperative.
He was.
Okay. Now, several other individuals was outside. You checked their IDs, correct?
I did.
Okay. And you put them in handcuffs.
Yes, somebody did.
Okay. And you didn't see them committing any crimes.
No.
Okay. And it would be fair to say throughout your whole time in this apartment complex that all of these individuals, they didn't give you any trouble, did they?
No.
Pretty cooperative.
They were.
Okay. All right, so now you called for the K-9 unit, right?
Checked on the ETA, yes.
Okay, and you observed the K-9 unit patrol, walk around the area with the K-9 officer, right?
I did.
Okay. And out of all of these individuals outside and the cars outside, you didn't observe the K-9 alert anything beside that one car, right?
To my knowledge.
To your knowledge, okay. All right, so out of all of the individuals that was congregating that evening, no one else was arrested, right?
Correct.
All right, so they weren't arrested for drugs, right?
Correct.
Okay, and they weren't arrested for guns, right?
Correct.
All right, so you didn't find, crimes out there beside the one that you said that you arrested Mr. Nichols for, right?
Correct.
Okay. All right, and so you based your arrest for Mr. Nichols solely on what was in the gray car, right?
Yes.
Okay, and the gray car that he was not in when you arrived?
Yes.
Okay, the gray car that you couldn't pinpoint what time that he may have been in that car, correct? You don't know, I asked you that earlier.
Correct.
Okay. All right, and Officer Ross, let me just ask you this. You're aware that the marijuana charge against Mr. Nichols was dismissed?
No.
You're not? No further questions.
That
Now
was
further questions.
that was a great cross-examination.
She's
Really,
good.
really good. Yeah,
I
she's
like
good.
her.
Yeah, and I haven't seen her before today, but now it's crimes where her client is allegedly involved in, and now
Yeah.
she can tell the jury the charges was dropped, wasn't there?
Best
And
beast left. I love it.
yeah, I like that walk off.
She was great.
Yeah, I like that walk off. But
Any further examination? Mr. Sharp?
Can we go out there? Officer Ross, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
How many people approximately were out there that night?
I'm not sure. Who are you referring to? Who are you referring to? Officers?
No, not officers, civilians, citizens.
More than 3.
More than 3? Was it more than 10?
I'm not sure.
Okay. How many total people were detained?
The people near the vehicle and the people inside the vehicle.
And how many people was that?
Without looking at the video, I'm not sure.
Give me an estimate.
I'm gonna guess maybe 5 at least.
5? And how many people were put in handcuffs?
I'm not sure.
Okay. Was it multiple people that were put in handcuffs?
Yes.
Okay. And what was the total amount of marijuana seized?
17 grams.
And that's a misdemeanor amount?
Standalone, yes.
Okay. You also testified to, as an officer, seeing firearms with drugs a lot.
Yes.
Okay, and your testimony was the reason for that is because the people with the drugs don't want the drugs taken.
Or the proceeds.
Or their money taken.
Yes.
So your testimony as an expert is
He didn't say
drug,
that's
or as an officer, excuse me, thank you, Your Honor, is that drug dealers have guns to avoid being robbed, correct?
It's one of the reasons.
All right, thank you.
One of the
Anybody
reasons.
else? All right,
Yes, Judge.
so, too good.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
Tell me your rank again.
Sergeant.
Sergeant. All right. Just a couple questions for you. I want to pick up where Mr. Shaw just left off.
Is this another cross-exam, Nick?
You started talking and you were asking
It is?
questions
Okay.
towards the end of your direct examination about your time patrolling the area, and you said that you are familiar with that Cleveland area. Is that correct?
Yes.
You asked some questions about, quote, gang activity or gang whatever in that area, right?
Yes.
And you said that you know that there's some people who, quote, throw up gang signs, I think is what you said, right?
I believe that to be a gang sign, yes.
Right. Okay. Sign you threw up while you were on the stand a little while ago was something that you said, well, that's recognized as that's what I know to be a YSL gang sign or something like that. Is that what you said?
Yes.
Okay. So let me bring this back around to this incident. You see a video on Instagram, right?
Yes.
You decide based on the video where someone's got what looks like some marijuana in their possession inside of a car, that you're going to go to that location and conduct an investigation, or I guess go find the weed, right?
Conduct an investigation, yes.
Right. You went over there with a bunch of other officers. I think your word was caravan. Right?
Yes.
To go locate this weed that you saw in the car, right?
To investigate the marijuana, yes.
Gotcha. Right. And you were very interested in doing this because you even called for the canine before you went out there.
Yes.
Right. Make sure that as you go over to this, wherever this location is, where someone's got a little bit of marijuana or some marijuana in the car, you're fully prepared, you and the other officers, right?
Yes.
And there's a canine coming to make sure that when you get there, you got what you need to search or find whatever you got to find, right?
Yes.
You get there, and as we just discussed a little while ago, there's some folks who live in the area, some citizens, right, who are there standing around, right?
I don't know where they live at, but
Yeah, you know they're there, right?
yeah, they're there.
I mean, they're not running all over the place. They're there in the location. This apartment complex where you are, right?
Yes.
right? And to do that is you all get out of the car and start talking to them and you detain them, right?
Yes.
And in fact, I think the way you described it, as you walk up, let's see, you say something to the effect of on the tape that we saw, do me a favor, I'm gonna detain y'all. That's what you say, right? When you walk up to these folks.
I believe so. I believe so.
Detain in your word means put them in handcuffs, these citizens, right?
Yes.
Right. Even the ones who you hadn't observed commit any crimes, these folks in their neighborhood are put in handcuffs by you because you want to detain them, you want to investigate, right?
To locate the marijuana, yes.
Locate the marijuana that you saw in a car on an Instagram post that you don't know when was posted, right?
Yes.
Okay. And so these folks who are just standing around there in their neighborhood, right, detained, quote unquote, put in handcuffs, and you tell them as you're conducting an investigation that you're being detained. As a matter of fact, one of them you said something to the effect of, some kid, you said, you're being detained, you're a grown man now.
Based on his age, yeah, he was considered grown by the state.
Yeah, I mean, but that's what you said to this kid who's standing around there, right?
Yeah.
He was putting handcuffs.
Well, somebody else was talking to me. I didn't say that to him.
You didn't?
Somebody was talking, somebody asked me something, and I said, he's a grown man now.
So when you said, when the words are said on the tape, and we saw the video, you being detained, you a grown man now, that ain't you?
I just said that was me. I said somebody was asking a question of him, I believe, and my response to them was, he's a grown man now.
Right. And that's the kid you're talking about who didn't have the, who had the ID that he had gotten to get a job or something like that, right?
I guess so.
Remember him saying that?
I don't know if he was getting a job, but I guess so.
You don't remember him saying that I went to this location to get this ID, you got to get it to have a job? You don't remember that?
I didn't really hear.
Okay. So as you're conducting this far-ranging investigation looking for this marijuana, you're talking to individuals who are there, right?
Yes.
Somebody says something to you and you says, you can have a seat on the ground. Remember saying that?
Yes.
Okay. And then you conduct the search and you find 17 grams of marijuana is what you found, right?
Yes.
And you found 3 guns, right?
Yes.
Mr. Nichols gets arrested.
Yes.
And that is the extent of it, right?
Yes.
Except at no point while you're conducting this investigation, while you're on the scene, is there anyone out there throwing up gang signs, right?
Correct.
All right. Ain't nobody out there while you're conducting this investigation that you're here talking about, that you're here testifying about in this RICO racketeering gang case, throwing up gang signs saying, I'm selling some marijuana because I'm by itself. None of that, right?
I sustain the objection.
Oh, Judge's voice is nice.
No gang signs.
No gang signs.
All right.
No gang signs.
All right, Mr. Matthews.
3 good ones.
Sergeant Ross, and you're familiar as a
Impressed.
veteran police officer and a sergeant, the responsibilities that you have with
Oh,
documenting and reporting as a responding officer, collecting gang-related information when you go to these scenes, correct?
Yes.
And you didn't document that as any gang signs, any paraphernalia, any language about any gang signs that particular night, correct?
That night, no.
Okay, nothing further.
Anybody else?
Oof.
All right, any redirect from the state? All right.
How long you gonna put me for?
11 years.
I am still gonna have to hang out here more.
3.
As an officer with. Officer, are you
Redirect
responsible
was
for
not
charging
very
them?
interesting.
No.
Okay.
No.
Who would the responsible?
So,
Any further recross?
Officer Ross, the state just asked you about the firearms in the vehicle, right?
Yes.
You remember that?
yes.
All right, so you're aware that you charged, and I think you went over this a little bit, and you're direct, Mr. Nichols with 1, 2, 3 possession of firearms during commission of a felony, correct?
Yes.
All right, and you're aware that they were dismissed.
Yeah. Oh, I wasn't aware, but okay.
Okay. All right, and you said that it was 3 guns, right?
Yes.
Okay, and you're aware that the possession of a firearm by a convicted felon, that 2 of those counts, you're aware they were dismissed?
No.
You're not? Okay. All right. Now, you charged Mr. Nichols, right? You filled out the arrest warrants. And you did not arrest Mr. Nichols for any gang charge, correct?
Correct.
All right. I'm finished, Your Honor.
Anybody else?
Sergeant, earlier, you asked a question that you answered about the term 12. Remember that?
Yes.
You said that 12 refers to police, right?
Yes.
You said that 12 normally is people yell out 12 to alert folks that the police are coming, right?
Yes.
Would it surprise you? I mean, would you be surprised that people in the community might yell out 12 when the experience that they have is police coming in and folks who haven't done anything are just thrown in handcuffs and detained when they haven't been observed committing any crime? You think people might be concerned about the police and might want to warn about the police coming in the community when they see that kind of stuff over and over again?
Are you referring to this incident?
Sure. Well, this incident and any other incident where something like this happens.
Well, I'm not sure about any other incident, but as it refers to this incident, I believe that there was justification for detaining people, so I'm not sure what they would feel.
Justification for putting folks in cuffs even if they hadn't done anything.
They would be. I sustain the objection.
Yeah. Y'all, so when you just talked about this a while ago, detaining folks to make sure you can conduct the investigation, put them in cuffs, do this up in Sandy Springs too?
You said, do they?
Mr. Adams,
Improper.
please don't do that. That's improper commentary.
Well,
No, it's improper commentary.
okay.
I'm sustaining the objection.
Okay, objection, understand. Actually, that's all I've got.
All right.
He's straight.
Yes, Mr. Matthews.
Sergeant Ross, on that particular night, did you all photograph any building or any area that had any YSL graffiti in that apartment complex?
That night, no.
Nothing further.
I wish that the second to last guy hadn't finished with pissing off the judge, because they were on a good roll.
Yeah.
They were on such a good roll. But you can't have it all. I mean, for me, those 2 hours, 3 hours he was on the stand could have been annihilated. But if it just hadn't pissed off the judge.
But I mean, the jury still saw everything.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it pissed off the judge, but would the jury care?
What was the commentary? That is, he wasn't really asking a question. He was making a statement.
Yeah.
And that's not allowed for an attorney.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Would that have bothered the jury so much? I don't know.
Well, we don't know, but I would assume now when everybody's warmed up that tomorrow will be equally interesting. There will be a lot of cops introducing evidence this week, but also a few layman witnesses. I'm not entirely sure who is going to be on the stand tomorrow, because as per usual, the state has a tendency to pull people in on a whim over and over again.
Watch out, Wim. Wim's in chat.
But yeah, we finished this day off with 26 sidebars in total.
You need to get your cape out and your fangs and for tomorrow.
Yeah, I'll see if I can find something funny, because but that is it for this recap of today's trial.
Yeah.
We will be back here tomorrow. I will be back here tomorrow, and Wednesday and Thursday and Friday. And because, where else would you go?
I gotta say, I'm impressed with how entertaining this is. Like the six defense attorneys are really, they're cool. They have attitude and swagger. I love them. especially that lady. That lady's great.
She did
I love the way
good.
she goes, okay, like that. Well, I'm saying an Australian accent. I can't do the American accent, but she's got a real bite to her. She's great.
Oh, we can't have.
Hello, Jingles.
Hey, look, happy Jingles, happy Jingles. He's so happy.
It's your month, Jingles. It's the month of Jingles.
Yeah.
It is.
Look how happy he is right now.
He's so pleased.
He's going to kill me.
He can't get over his joy to be held up like that. But, thanks. I appreciate that so much, my Lord and Master.
And yes, and remember, I will. Let's see here. Where is it? There.
Oh, that's so great.
Christmas ornament on. I will have this up until. I will have this up this week, but you are cutting close if you want this in your tree. But you can have it for next year. I will have the similar one, but without the Santa hat, as a staple on my merch store.
Oh, I love it. So I suppose it gets shipped from like the same place everything else gets shipped from, not from Sweden, yeah? So,
yeah, Teespring has an American and a European, so I don't really know how long it will take for them to do it, but wait.
It just appears.
Yeah.
Like magic.
Yeah. Let's see. Who am I supposed to send people off to? Who is online? Valhalla is online.
Is he still streaming? Yeah, I saw him streaming earlier. Yeah, he started. He started around when I was streaming earlier, so he's doing a whole trial, so he should be on.
Let's see here. Dun dun dun. Yeah. So I will send you over there. But thank you everybody for showing up. Thank you to Hella for showing up, even though your picture freezes all the time.
I know. It's been terrible today. I'm sorry. I'm fixing things up out there.
Yeah, no worries. But thank you everybody. I will see you all back here tomorrow. It will be around 6:30 p.m. US Eastern, or around midnight my time, or whatever time it is in Australia. All right.
About 9 a.m.
9 a.m. Australia. Okay. Thank you, everybody. See you around.
Have a great day. Bye.
Bye-bye.